Hey guys, Hijinks here. We're back with another versus video. This is requested by Mac. It's Sub-Zero and Scorpion versus Doomsday. So we'll be changing up a few things in this video. I'll be changing up some of the format. I'll be changing up some of the style. Now the format we're changing because it's such a landslide victory that we didn't want to make you guys wait to see the victor. We just wanted to tell you who would win, and then we're going to explain in depth on why he'd win. If you guys do disagree with our decision, please put it down in the comments below. And tell us if you prefer this format of video over the other one. And more importantly, tell us if you guys like the new editing that we're going to be bringing in. We'll be trying out a few new editing styles as we work our way through these videos to make sure we find just the right fit for everyone involved. But now, the guy that would win is Doomsday. But the real question here isn't if Doomsday would win, but it's why he would win. So guys, let's look at the factors that gives Doomsday that edge in the fight. And these are all reliant in the ability list that Doomsday has, as there is a whole list of abilities that we're going to go through. The first one we're going to look at is unique physiology. This means that every time he gets hit or hurt, his skin gets harder. So this means during the fight, every punch he gets hit with, his skin's going to get harder and he's going to get stronger because of it. So essentially, eventually they would hit a point where the fists, or whatever they're hitting him with, wouldn't be able to cause enough damage to hurt him. We also have energy resistance, which means that he can withstand a various amount of energy attacks, including electrical and heat-based attacks, which is especially useful against Scorpion, as Scorpion utilizes the Nether Realm and fire, and those are two things that he is resistant to, as they both rely on heat. He has an accelerated healing factor, which means that he can essentially heal from damage almost immediately, which means that attacks will essentially cause no harm, especially when you double it up with unique physiology. He has adaptation, which means he's constantly adapting to forms of attack that hit him, and he learns how to resist them so he can't be harmed by the same attack multiple times. So for instance, an attack that we haven't mentioned is frost-based attacks. If he were to get hit with a frost-based attack, that essentially it wouldn't be able to work on him forever. They wouldn't be able to rely on that one thing that he hasn't adapted to, because essentially once it hits him, he's already adapting to it. He has superhuman strength, which means he can overpower a supercharged Kryptonian. He can bend and break reinforced steel, he can uproot trees and buildings, and he can overpower the whole Justice League and Green Lantern Corps. So essentially, he can overpower all these people, and so essentially overpowering, Scorpion and Sub-Zero would be very, very, very easy for him, as they aren't as strong as the whole Justice League and Green Lantern Corps. He has invulnerability, which means that he's almost completely resistant to all forms of physical and mental attacks. He can even withstand a dark side of Mega Beam. For any of you guys that have seen it, dark side of Mega Beam is excessively dangerous and can kill plenty of things, and he can withstand it quite easily without even there being a scratch on him. So this would mean that essentially he wouldn't be able to be harmed by their attacks, as he can take something the strength of the dark side of Mega Beam and survive it. He also has something called self-sustenance, which means he can survive anywhere without any form of nourishment, because he relies on himself to generate that nourishment. He also has superhuman speed, because he has a surprising amount of speed for his size. Even though he's so large, he was able to render the whole entire Justice League incapable of fighting very, very quick, in like a matter of moments, in fact. So it would mean he's faster than both Sub-Zero and Scorpion. He has superhuman stamina, which means that he can fight for months without tiring. He fought Superman for days and days and days, until Superman was the one that was tired. So this means he could outfight them, so if they were trying to make this a marathon fight and try to tire him out, it wouldn't happen. He could fight for months. He has super leap. He's not able to fly because of his muscles, though. He is able to jump miles high, which means he can avoid attacks pretty easily. He can maneuver pretty well, and he can jump really, really high, which means he can come down very hard on them. He also has claws. Now these claws are strong protrusions of bone that are able to cut through and overpower Kryptonians as well. They can extend and make them venomous, which means he can poison them, and he can poison, he can poison anyone essentially, and he can remove limbs quite easily with them. He has telescopic vision, which means he could see Sub-Zero and Scorpion before they were even able to see him, because he would be able to find them quicker due to his vision if they were going to try to do another attack that involved distance. And he has an advanced knowledge on hand-to-hand combat, so he would be about equal level of fighting as Sub-Zero and Scorpion. So we do have a few weaknesses, though, and these weaknesses are something that we can explore really quick. he has something called entropy as a weakness, which means that when time ends, he dies. Now this is interesting because I was actually thinking, before I had talked to my partner, Van Cortison, as you know in chat, I was like, hey, let's look in to see if there's anything that involves time in the Mortal Kombat universe. And someone I thought that would have it was Quan Chi. But the reason I thought that was because there were dead people coming back with the use of Quan Chi's magic. When we found out was that Quan Chi is a necromancer, and that the ability to control time doesn't essentially exist in the Mortal Kombat universe, so they would not be able to learn that magic. Not the only, I was thinking to stretch it and say, well, you know, since Sub-Zero is a cryomancer, which means he knows magic involving frost, and maybe he can learn another magic as well. So that would even be a stretch, but that was not a case. That's not something that could happen in this universe, as that doesn't exist. That magic wouldn't exist. But there's another weakness he has called single-mindedness, which is he's easily distracted by his hatred. He is able to be guided wherever you need him to. However, the downside of this is that it's a very, very, very temporary pause. So if they were to stick him somewhere, he would find his way out inevitably, but it would be somewhere to postpone the end of a fight. And as I've stated before, he does have a lot of stamina, so there's not going to be an issue with continuing with that. So there you go, guys. Essentially, Doomsday has a list of abilities that makes him unstoppable. And with that in mind, I want to make a note is that we are not going to be utilizing Doomsday in any more of these battles until we find someone that is his equal. So there won't be really any touches on Doomsday versus anyone until we find an equal for him, because as you guys have just heard, Doomsday is very, very, very strong. And Doomsday essentially is like the perfect enemy. So this is the one that ends everything. And he's so strong and so dangerous, in fact, that everyone in the DC universe will group up together. Enemies, will team up, villains and heroes just to stop him. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know if you guys have anyone you prefer down below. Thank you guys for watching the intro to this video. And I'll be posting this up soon. But have a great day, guys. Peace.